Okay, this is going to be the day trading recap for Tuesday, August 25th, 2026. Looking at the pre-market plan, price has sold off from all-time highs and is now in this lower time frame balance, but it's honestly starting to turn into a higher time frame balance because you can see it's been occurring since last Thursday into Friday, overnight, and then yesterday on Monday too, and into the pre-market today. So it really is starting to form a higher time frame balance. Very simple game plan today, looking for mean reversions within this balance. Outside of it, to the upside, I was looking for longs. To the downside, I was watching for a failed break because there's demand just below, along with this very key higher time frame key level. So if the balance were to break, I was pretty much looking for longs either way. And then just looking at the pre-market here, you can see this is where price has been rejecting previously, and it did reject there into the pre-market. So when price was opening up, we had already rejected off of this balance high, and then price was putting in this resistance just above the balance high. You can see we rejected around 817, sold off, and then going into the open, and then into the open, price held resistance there. So what did I take? So first of all, we got kind of this chop, but price was still holding that resistance level, rejected here, sold off again, broke the low. Part of me wanted to get in on a failed break setup here, which would have worked. You could have taken it all the way to the high, but it would have been 3-4 points on the profit, and also the context wise, it just did not make sense to me to try this. I'll take plays where context isn't fully there, but this was just a play where longs were totally out of the picture at the current moment. This was the one. There's basically 4 setups I was watching today. 4 were long, 3 were short. This is the one scenario I'm watching for shorts, is this rejection off of the high to then look for the mean reversion. So this is the one time I don't want to be looking for long. So good job getting off of that thought. And with this already rejecting the key level, and then this holding as resistance at open, I'm not really looking for a retest in here. I'm looking for ways to get short to then continue this move that's already started. So what does that first entry look like? It was a 2 lower highs setup. So there's that initial test of that pre-market res level, which rejected, came up again, rejected, came up again, rejected. I didn't mark this one just because this was a little bit higher and it was into this offer, but there's our first lower high. You can see a nice quick rejection off of an an exhaustion print, rather, I should say, into this offer, adds a little bit of confluence. Price then absorbs some sellers at the low of day. It then rallies. Initially, when this was selling off, I was looking for a potential break and retest play. Did not happen just then. This is also what I was talking about when I was saying I was kind of looking for a potential failed break because of that absorption and aggressive buying, but it just did not make sense contextually speaking. So I ended up taking a short here when we saw this second exhaustion print. There's 1, 2 after this first high. Selling starts to come in. We have an offer up here that's a pretty good entry for me. I go ahead and get in that. You can see we have rejected that balance high level. And it just did not get much juice. Pretty much reversed immediately. It slowed down a little bit in here. And then when it didn't come back down and it started to come back up, I got ready to cut, and I ended up saving myself 2 ticks on that. Still 3 points lost. Not anything crazy big, but also not tiny. But a good trade. I like that try. Whoa. Something crazy just happened. Jeez, oh jeez. That is bonkers. Just want to check the tape on that real quick. Weird. I wonder if news came out, probably. What did that hit? Almost hit the low of the balance right there. Now it's mean reverting. Yeah, that's not the point of this video. So I get stopped out of that last play. Price comes up and retests this resistance level, and I get a nice solid entry on my bread and butter reversal setup, which is absorption exhaustion or absorption aggression exhaustion. So we see most of the absorption occurring at the beginning because these are all exhaustion prints, and then you don't see a ton in here, maybe a little bit of absorption in here. So that's why I kind of have this first thing marked as absorption and exhaustion. It built not just on this push-up, but it built from the 9:35 time frame all the way to 9:50. So we had 15 minutes building this absorption and exhaustion. Then what really got me interested in this setup is this aggressive selling right here after that absorption and exhaustion. So that's showing us we have interest at the level. Now we want to see the level defend. Quick retest happens. Look how small buyers are in there. You can barely even see them. That's exhaustion to me. Price starts selling off, and I get a good entry. And you can see we are rejecting that resistance level. Sold off, putting in resistance lower, and I'm looking for that higher time frame rejection to continue into a mean reversion play. And yeah, you can see my first target, I needed to see this absorption level break at the low of day. Got a nice break of that. I then started getting a little bit weary here, just a few points below when this absorption occurred. Lots of strong selling coming into this bid, not really getting much push down. It then broke, and at that point I was pretty nervous of just a massive spike to come in after this absorption and just rip me out of it, so I put a trail in and it got hit. If this month hadn't been so tough and the win rate was better, I probably would have just held break even and held to target, but with how tricky this month has been, I'm taking a little bit of profit where I can, and I'm gonna trail and be safe with it and protect myself rather than just holding break even until target on this particular trade. And you can see it did. My initial target was 86s through 80s, which was just on this move right here. It's kind of the middle of the balance of the mean reversion area, but it's also just a little bit of structure demand and a little bit of consolidation before a nice aggressive rally that had some follow through. So that was my initial target, which you can see I could have obviously taken it anywhere in there. But yeah, like even just to get to the 83s, 3 points into my target, it would have taken another 17 minutes of just very slow, annoying, frustrating chop just to get to my target. And then if I would have gotten out of the 80s, it would have taken even longer. So not mad about the execution at all on that. Followed my plan pretty well, responded to red flags. It feels good to finally have a green day. It's nothing huge. It's like 3.25 points total. I only snagged 6.25 on that winner. But it feels good to have a green day. It's been a good amount of time. Here's all my entries and exits. Video was a little bit longer than I expected it to. But yeah, that'll be it for this one. We'll be back tomorrow. Peace.